These people don't give a shit.
He's giving them the business.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. It's going to win the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
To the 40, Herman Whitfield to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown official.
What's up? Welcome, everyone, to College Football Extravaganza, Week 3, Week 2 recap. We're here with the full crew. Joey, welcome back to the podcast.
What's up? You guys are lucky to have me.
We're lucky to have you. We're lucky to have the Gambling Cave. We're in Gambling Cave right now watching Aaron Rodgers potentially not
tear
yeah.
his Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, this is, how do you like the new setup? We're going to be doing this?
We got a lot going on in here. I mean, there's potential for so many angles of so many different games. But we're through one drive with Rodgers.
Yeah, he's not dead yet. So congratulations, Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets fans on their Super Bowl.
He went out on 9/11 last year, right?
I think he did after carrying the flag up.
Yeah, I mean, we're not there yet, but 9/11.
A second Achilles could hit a tower, so watch out.
Second Achilles hit the tower.
Not yet.
I mean, I'm rooting for him. I'm honestly rooting for him. Sorry, if there's some feedback here, I can hear it on my end, y'all. Let me know if there's some feedback in the chat. But all right,
Shout out chat.
Shout out chat. Shout out Joey. Joey should be excited. Joey's back on. He said he only came back just for you. So that's shout out to you. All right, let's get to first week atonements here. We got a shot atonement. The Arizona State Mississippi State game. That was our shot game of the week. Justine, what do you have to say for yourself?
I saw this game at I saw my second half of this game at midnight at Buffalo Wild Wings. Got off work, said I wanted wings. Get there. I was really just watching the Boise State Oregon game because that shit show was just already, at least for Oregon, it was a bad game. But for when it comes to Arizona State, Mississippi State, it was a blowout. It started getting a little more fun because Mississippi State started to come back a little bit, and then it just went downhill from there. Didn't really understand how bad Mississippi State was until watching that game live. That's a bad team.
Yeah, I'm an old man. Those games come on too late for me. I was long asleep by the time that game came on.
I'll do a little swig for you because they did start to come back. I mean,
cheers.
Yeah, cheers, shots. But I mean, that's why we made the shot game of the week so we could have something exciting to look forward to at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, let's not make it 11 o'clock at night now that I'm back. So
Okay.
please.
All right, old man's back. We gotta do whatever. All right, so week 1, the Friday games. Who cares? We're gonna hit the old fashioned who cares on that one.
Who cares?
All right, we got Duke, Northwestern. Overtime, Duke wins. I don't really care.
I care because Northwestern's coach is a retard. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on there, but you know what? I don't know how many of you guys watched this drive in overtime. They're running the ball down the field. Duke scored, and they went for 2, didn't get it. And Northwestern's coach on 3rd and 1 on the 5-yard line runs a speed sweep with the quarterback. He gets tackled 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Game over. They lose.
I will say the overtime was fun. I mean, first off, if you're a Duke fan or Manny Diaz, your kicker makes you shit a brick every time he kicks the ball. I mean, the hooks are crazy.
And he just had so much faith in him.
I know. He sent him out there 3-4 times in the second half. And he even about missed the extra point in overtime.
Yeah.
That was a rough one to watch for a little bit. But
yeah.
Overall, you can't complain about Friday night football, especially when it's late night. It wasn't a bad game.
Yeah, I was happy because the Eagles won, but I mean that was a sour note to go to bed for somebody who bet Northwestern.
And then when you're done watching that game, Australian rugby came on after, and then you're just really lost in life at that point.
True.
All right, so I mean, so that is pretty retarded. I will give you that. And
Thank you.
You can say retard. You can say anything.
Anything.
You can say
I
anything
don't
you want.
know.
Repercussions will happen eventually, but you can say anything you want. This is America. All right, SMU falls to BYU. I kind of saw this coming, but I wanted to stay away from it. SMU is new in the ACC. What are you thinking? Florida State has to play SMU.
SMU might be worse than Florida State is. And
They
Florida
might
State's
be,
bad.
yeah.
I bet SMU season win total before the season started because I love their quarterback. I love their coach. They switched quarterbacks in the second drive of this game because the guy for the first 2 weeks of the season did nothing. So I don't know. I mean, they just might be trash. BYU is supposed to be the worst team in the Big 12 this year, or one of them. So
That's what I thought. So the ACC is looking like
dog
garbage.
water.
Yeah.
Dog water.
It's
Yeah.
bad. It's bad. All right, going into Saturday, Georgia obviously trounces Tennessee Tech. No one cares. Ohio State does the same with Western Michigan. If you guys ever want to stop me, just stop me. Texas absolutely destroys Michigan. I kind of saw it coming, but
Dub on the board right there for Texas.
there you go. Yeah, Texas 7.5 was very easy. That's
It
what
was
I
down
thought.
to 6.5 before the game started.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, no, I had that one all day. I mean, they look like they were just playing with their food. What do you got to say, Justin?
We see, Michigan really was cheating now. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, as an Ohio State fan, yes, they were cheating. But, you lose 20 players, you lose your entire coaching staff. It's understandable them getting blown out. It's good to see them get humbled a little bit. They got brought back down to earth from their reigning national championship season, back-to-back playoff appearances. Earth. But Texas, they're a real good team. They can play some football. We'll really get to see them play a little bit more the more we get to see them creep into this SEC schedule, but that was just not a surprise for me.
Yeah, I think any rational fan saw that coming. I mean, everyone was on Texas. It almost seemed too easy. And, I mean, Michigan just lost too much. I mean, look at Florida State. They're doing the same thing. They lost too much. And Harbaugh kind of left him out to dry. Sharon Moore's not that good of a coach. They gave him to him basically because he won the games when Harbaugh was out, but he had the best team in the country.
That's
so.
what I was going to say. So do we think he's the guy? Do we think he's not the guy?
Trash.
You ever seen the meme of we've all seen Dark Knight Rises and like Bane, like whenever he's like in the plane as it's crashing and he's like, they expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. There's like a meme with Harbaugh as Bane.
Absolutely.
And Sharon Moore is the guy being put in the plane. And I was like, because Harbaugh literally just left that place in ashes and said, you get the consequences. I'll take my ring, go to the NFL, coach for maybe 3-4 years, lose a lot, and then go retire.
Yeah, I'm also big on Texas. I didn't mention that. They're my pick to win the national championship this year. I think Quinn Ewers is an awesome quarterback. He should be the number one overall pick in the draft. You can argue Carson Beck. I'll hear you out, but I love Texas this year, even on their third string running back.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I did bet them. I also bet them prior to the season to win the national championship. So since we didn't do any preseason videos, we'll say that now. That's who you think. I mean, you're an Ohio State fan, so you might be biased, but
As Nick Saban said, you have a $20 million roster. You better win that national championship. So that's part of the game right there. I think with how much has happened, the only problem for Ohio State will be the same one as last year. It's the quarterback issue. They did get a better quarterback in Will Howard. Not saying he's a lot better than Kyle McCord, who beat Georgia Tech this past
Kyle
weekend.
McCord looked good this week.
I was about to say, I was like, where's this been, man? Like, I was riding Georgia Tech pretty heavily. I mean, they were one of my locks last week. I was too. That might have been the whiskey talking, but So I will say this: Kyle McCord. I like to see him have some sort of success. It's cool to see Syracuse play ball. Anytime Syracuse is able to play ball, it's a lot more fun. But I was riding Georgia Tech. That was my only missed lock last week. Was them to cover and beat Syracuse, and they ended up getting blown out really in ACC terms when it came to how bad they lost.
Yeah,
ACC terms. Yep.
trash.
Speaking of Nick Saban and the number 4 team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide, they played South Florida last week, and we actually have a resident Alabama fan.
Correspondent.
He might be our Alabama correspondent this year. I don't know. Are you chilling? Do you want to come talk about what Saban did?
What Saban did?
Yeah, what Saban did. He was there, so it was the Saban curse. It couldn't have been the new coach.
What the Saban wannabe did?
Yeah, the Saban wannabe. Yeah, come sit down. Come plop the squat. Yeah, you have to squeeze in for a second.
No.
He's got work boots on. Obviously, he's an Alabama fan. So
Get him.
what do you got to say about Alabama this week? Because they ran up to the fourth quarter, very close ball game, and then kind of ran away with it at the end.
We have two offensive linemen that are hurt. All right. And then one of them was week to week. We were sitting him out because we wanted him to be ready for the stretch because we have Wisconsin this weekend, then we have a bye week, and then we have Georgia. Towards the end of the game, we took the guy out. I think he had 75 yards in penalties by himself on the offensive line. We took him out and put in the guy that's week to week. Well, we decided we could run the ball when that guy came back in. And then we got Proctor, who's another offensive lineman, who is out. He's also week to week. When they're both back, I think we don't have a ceiling.
Who's your quarterback when they're both back?
We have a big quarterback room with lots of quarterbacks in it.
Yeah, but who's starting?
His name is Jalen Milrow.
Ooh, yikes.
He started last year too. And we just happened to lose to a team that cheated, you know? I mean, what do you want from me? I mean, technically,
Is it cheating when the quarterback throws the ball on the ground 5 yards from their line of scrimmage?
maybe we should be national champions because we lost to a team that cheated. Who knows? Maybe Saban should have won his last year. By the way, they named the field after Saban.
I saw that. That's pretty good.
Well, he's the best coach of all time, so
I thought it was
well
pretty
deserved. Jalen Milrow, not well deserved.
Is that all you got? So Alabama's still going to the playoffs this year. Still go like do you expect them to win the SEC? Maybe get an at-large bid at one of those 12 spots. What are you thinking? What are your expectations here?
I expect us to be in the playoff. Win the SEC, it's going to be a tough road. We got to beat Georgia. Georgia, they look good. They didn't super hard impress me against Clemson to start, but then they turned it on the second half. So it just depends. We have to get through them. And we also have to get through Wisconsin at Wisconsin. It's kind of
Can be a tough game.
north for Alabama, so I don't like that.
Well, gotcha. And this is one half of the Alabama cousins that you'll probably be hearing from this year. I mean, Alabama's got a tough road ahead of it, but we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see. Justin, you got anything on Alabama, South Florida?
That was a good game. I mean, I had a lot of friends that were at that game. Casey, who's a frequent watcher of the pod.
Shout out.
Yeah, he was at that game. He was having a great time. I mean, he was really just more in a romantic feel because he's just so in love with Bama that he knew this game would be close for South Florida. He was in it every single aspect of that game. Wilkin Formby was the O-lineman who was the absolute most atrocious player that we have seen when it comes to that many penalties. But they took him out, and we started to see Bama ball once again. The holding penalties on like a large run. You see the camera shoot to Saban on the day that they're announcing it as Nick Saban Field and everything. It's like, if this program was still his, man, we would be like, seeing Jalen Milrow dancing to the end zone, and then you see the camera go to Saban. It was just the biggest 180 we've ever seen in a program, especially Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, I'll save my Alabama talk for the Wisconsin game.
Wisconsin
I got
game?
a lot of feelings.
All right. Now, probably the biggest upset of the week. Number 5 Notre Dame goes down in South Bend to Northern Illinois. Boy, how disappointed are you as a Notre Dame fan? Your season's over. You're not making it to the playoff. 100% not making it to the playoff anymore. Sorry, Davis. Sorry. Yeah, you hate to see it. But that coach on the other side, what do you know? What was that coach's name for NIU? Do you remember his name?
No, but he's awesome.
He is awesome. I saw the after the game sideline interview when the reporter was like, "Where are these emotions coming from?" Like,
Where the hell do you think they're coming from?
Thomas Hammock. So obviously, he's hanging a hammock right now, just relaxing after that win. I think he put so much into it. He's kind of like autistic about Northern Illinois, it seems like.
Yeah, he's like their perfect coach.
Yeah.
They lost to Marshall last year, right?
Notre Dame?
Yeah,
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was still Marcus Freeman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his second game. His
Marcus
first game was
Freeman.
Ohio State, and then I think his second game was Marshall.
He might not have it.
He might also not be the guy.
He might not be the guy. That's a good way to put it. I mean, they have a huge win, probably the biggest one since he's been there the week before at Texas A&M. How good is Texas A&M with a first-year coach with probably a bad quarterback? I don't know. Right. But still, they go on the road, go to Kyle Field, get a dub, and then have all the momentum in the world, get their ass beat by Northern Illinois. I mean, it's pathetic. You got to be upset as a Notre Dame fan, but I don't know. Coach sucks.
Coach sucks. I think I gave him way too much credit for beating Texas A&M opening week. It was like Mike Elko's such a good coach; they're gonna be good. I think they're above average, maybe average. Texas A&M now.
Maybe. We'll see.
But we will see. It's too early to tell, honestly. So yeah, huge upset there, Notre Dame. We'll have to see how far they fall. Actually, didn't the rankings come out? 19th or 20th. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah, I guess one bad game. I mean,
That's an overreaction
so
there.
Dumb. That is so dumb. NIU at 25. Very, very overreaction, Justin says accurately. All right, moving forward. Ole Miss absolutely obliterates Middle Tennessee. They cover. Oregon, Boise State, one of my locks, one of Justin's locks from last week. That overhit 37-34. Oregon escapes narrowly. They are not the number 7 team in the nation.
No, the whole Dylan Gabriel's the favorite to win the Heisman this year. That was a load of crock, huh? Oregon just might not be that good. It's another team that lost a lot. Their quarterback's throwing interceptions in the NFL right now. So I'm not a big believer in Oregon this year.
Well, leave Bo Nix alone. Now, did y'all ever see that pick that happened? He threw it into literally triple coverage on the sideline. And as soon as he released it,
tough.
the commentator goes, "Oh no!" Before it's even caught.
Well
I was
deserved.
Like, that's a golden call. That's going to forever be a great call. But it'll pan out for Bo. I think he. Actually, I don't know, man. It might be. I mean, Sean Payton confuses me so much when he does quarterbacks now. He got lucky with Drew Brees. We haven't seen anything since.
How many times have we seen that? One quarterback, one coach. Look at Bill Belichick.
Yes, correct. Anyways, in the college life, though, Oregon, Boise State. Boise State, they are definitely one of those teams that they have a high-scoring power offense that can play Power 4 football. They can play against those big teams. Definitely one of those teams that you could put in the playoffs. And if they had won this weekend, they probably would have been the most bet team in the group of 5 or group of, what do we call it? Is it group of 6 now? I don't know.
Group of 4. Or group of 6? I don't know.
But they would have probably
There's
been
a
the
group,
most
there's
bet
teams.
team from the group of 6 to make the playoffs because beating Oregon would have been huge. They would have gotten through all their tougher games. But yeah, for Oregon, just not really.
If Oregon didn't look so bad last week, then this win wouldn't have been look as bad because, like you're saying, Boise State, good team, but they struggled with Illinois State or whoever, Idaho State last week, and then they struggle again with another group of 5 team.
Idaho's
Was it just Idaho?
They're not even in FBS anymore. So Idaho.
That's where the
they
red
were
flags
in the
get
2014 NCAA game, and then this is the only team that was not put back into the game.
Pretty funny. I didn't know
Idaho's
that.
actually where UWF quarterback Mike Beaudry transferred to after he left the 2017 national championship team. He went and finished his time in Idaho. Now he's back as a coach for UWF.
That's pretty cool.
But that's just a random tidbit that I know. But yeah, when it comes to Oregon, Dan Lanning, he's chilling in his big boy money, but it's just not been pretty.
Idaho, and big shout out to Dylan Beaudry?
Ooh,
Dylan
Robert.
Beaudry, everybody. But big UWF knowledge here. Justin is gonna be corresponding live at UWF for ESPN Radio, right? No, I thought you were still on it. No, okay.
Not with. I'm not doing. I still do UWF stuff, but not ESPN.
Not with ESPN. All right, so fuck ESPN then. That's fine. Okay, moving on. Another team that we should be talking about might be the bigger upset of the week that narrowly escaped it. Penn State narrowly escapes Bowling Green, the fighting Bowling Greens in Happy Valley.
Yeah, I watched the majority of this game because I live bet Bowling Green money line, hoping to get a big win there. Yeah, I don't know. The game plan for Penn State was just weird. They was it Drew Allard? Is that the name? Yeah, he looked good last week. Blew out West Virginia, and then they decided to throw the ball with him 19 times in this game, and they thought they could run it down Bowling Green's mouth, and Bowling Green just had different plans for him. Played good.
Drew's a good quarterback. I mean, he was definitely one of the young guys in the Big Ten last year who was really good. He wasn't like great success, especially after the Michigan game, but he was one of the guys who was like when it came to returning quarterbacks in the Big Ten, he was looked at pretty heavily to be a guy who would have some success. One, though, Penn State always has a weird game versus those smaller schools every year. They'll go to overtime. They'll go deep to the wire with them. I feel like there's always a game like that every other year for them where they just look stupid. Like just playing bad ball, not playing their best ball. James Franklin looks like he's getting ready to get fired. Just multiple aspects where you're just like, Penn State is not that playoff team that we always say they can.
Well, they're going to be this year. This is
maybe. That's the thing. Watch them do the most Penn State thing ever. Be short of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to be
again.
number 14.
They
Yeah.
said, all right, you've been in the top 10, top 12, almost half the years of the playoff existing. So we're going to expand it so you can get in there. And they come up short again.
Well, at the Penn State schedule this year, I don't think they play Ohio State or Michigan.
Let's look at it real quick. We would pull this up on the screen.
So, I mean, they're going to have a cakewalk in there. They do play Ohio State.
They got Kent State, Illinois, who knocked off Kansas. Illinois is not, if they had a tough time with Bowling Green,
We'll
they're going to
see.
have a tough time with Illinois, potentially. Illinois always chokes on cock. But UCLA, USC at USC, that's not easy. Wisconsin.
We'll see. Look, you saw LSU struggle with Nichols this week.
Right. So, Ohio State, that's a big one. Yeah, the end of the season, not bad. Washington, Purdue, Minnesota,
They
Maryland.
could easily finish 11-1 with that schedule.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
I think more realistically 10-2.
And that's probably playoff.
Yeah, which would still be playoff for sure. I don't see them being the USC I've seen so far. I will agree with you when it came to LSU and Nicholas. Like, that was a bad game for them as well. But right now we're seeing USC, or Lincoln Riley, I should add, have something he's never had when he has the most elite offenses. And that's a competitive, really good defense. The way they did LSU, I tip my cap to Lincoln Riley because it's like you're playing the ball you haven't played in forever as a head coach.
All right. So, James Franklin, also, like, how much grace does he get there at Penn State? Is he getting a lot more grace here in the new playoff, 12-team playoff era? Or we're just going to wait and see here?
We'll see. They'll get tired of him eventually whenever he makes the playoff for 5 years straight and then does nothing, loses in the first or second round.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, too. All right. We'll try and blow through these 9 through 25 real fast. So, Missouri kills Buffalo. Utah doesn't really blow out Baylor, kind of to my surprise.
Cam Rising got hurt, I believe.
Did he get hurt again?
Yeah.
Was it bad?
I'm not sure how bad it was.
Did you see this? I didn't really see it.
I heard a little bit about it, but I didn't hear any major news about it that he was like out. But I'm sure that will probably come out later in the week.
All right, we'll hit our sources up and circle back on Cam Rising, that's for sure. Miami looks good. They cover against FAMU. USC blows Utah State out 48-0. Tennessee absolutely dominates NC State. Absolutely destroys NC State. I didn't think it was going to be close, but I didn't think it was going to be that much of a slaughter fest. Nico, I'm gonna say his name right. I'm gonna end up saying his name. Yeah, eventually. But yeah, I mean, NC State not what we thought they were.
I agree. People were hyping up NC State. I mean, they're NC State. You got to remember that. Tennessee might be a problem now. That was my favorite bet of the week. Whenever I saw the spread, I assumed it was going to be Tennessee minus 17 or something like that. The fact that I think at the end when the game kicked off, it was minus 8.5. Yeah, I mean, I hammered that bet. That was a fun one. It was an easy bet. When they got that pick six, the game was over.
We locked it in too.
Yeah, we both put in Tennessee as a lock. I will say, Nico right now, he's definitely a guy who can play good ball. The schedule's not too crazy this year. I mean, you're seeing Tennessee have a little bit more breathing room. Mm-hmm. We'll see them get Oklahoma this week, but with the way Oklahoma played Houston, of all people, like that was pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
I'm going to be curious to see what that spread is because I might be hammering Tennessee again.
Nico might be a dark horse for the Heisman, which might be an overreaction, but he could be a dark horse.
I don't think he's a dark horse.
Why's he got to be a dark horse?
Isn't he Hawaiian?
He's a white horse.
Yeah, I think Joey's right. I think he is Hawaiian.
He's Hawaiian.
Yeah.
He is this year's version of Tua. We can't say his last name, so we just say Tua. So now it's just Nico.
I think Nico's better than Tua.
Yeah, the name is definitely better. Oh, you think just overall general quarterback?
I think he's going to be a better quarterback than Tua was.
Yeah, probably. All right. Tennessee. So you're saying they got Oklahoma this week? I haven't even looked.
That's what Justin said.
All right. Well, we're going to look. I mean, we're going to cover anyway. So 2 games. Okay, so 2 weeks from now. All right, so Oklahoma looked like shit against Houston, a Houston team that looked terrible last week. I revenge bet Houston this week, Oklahoma to cover, because I bet on Houston last week because Jeff Fitton, who's the coach that came over from Tulane? Willie Fritz?
Sounds right.
Yeah, Willie Fritz. I thought he was good at Tulane, so I was like, Houston's going to be good. Lost my bet, revenge bet against them this week. Lost that bet, so now I have to revenge bet against Oklahoma at some point. But other than that, I have nothing to say about Oklahoma. I think they're going to suck. I think they're going to be god-awful.
I'm not a big believer. I know their quarterback's supposed to be a lot better than Dylan Gabriel was. That's the reason why Dylan Gabriel's at Oregon right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch this game. I got no idea. I don't have a feel on either of these teams.
We won't cover it. The game I did catch on the way back home, Arkansas and Oklahoma State. This goes into 2 overtimes. Arkansas had the fucking game won, and then they muffed a punt, and Oklahoma State does what Mike Gundy teams do, and they fucking took it to overtime.
Or did Sam
you're jumping
Pittman's
at the
team?
bit here.
You ever get those games where like it was a bad beat. It was a bad beat if you were betting for Arkansas. But if you chose Oklahoma State to cover, like me with that log, so you go to overtime. They both missed a field goal, so you go to double overtime. So you have to, if you score a touchdown, go for 2. So Oklahoma State gets the ball first, gets a touchdown, then gets a 2-point conversion, and so they're up 8 now, which would cover that 7.5 that they were supposed to cover by. And then Arkansas doesn't score at all. So you get that cover in overtime, which is just such a
That's
rare occurrence.
Yeah, and the game ended up going to 10.5 too, so you would have covered.
Yep.
No, I watched this. We watched this whole game here, and it was an awesome game. Oklahoma State looked like absolute shit. Ollie Gordon, by the way, not who we thought he was. Maybe I don't know if it's something to do with Oklahoma State's scheme this year or something. But I mean, yeah, Mike Gundy's team finds a way to win. Sam Pittman's team finds a way to lose. Simple as that.
Simple as that. I mean, common occurrence, right? Like, but
Sam Pittman stinks. He's not a good coach.
I'm and everyone's like, Bobby Petrino's got this offense kicking. It's
They
like
were kicking a little bit.
they were kicking a little bit, but maybe more than last year. But you lose KJ Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson stinks. He's a bad quarterback.
I mean, he hasn't been doing terrible at UCF, but we'll see. We'll see what he does when they start to get into the meat of their schedule. But anyway, yeah. So big time loss by Arkansas, and Oklahoma State doesn't look as good as I thought they were, but ultimately they came back and won the game. So probably won't get punished too much in the rankings there. Kansas State plays Tulane really close. This was another great game to watch. I watched pretty much all of this game.
Yeah, this game sucked.
I loved it. I loved watching Tulane. A lot of offense there in the third quarter. They traded blows back to back to back to back. Pause. And I think Kansas State just eked this one out at the very end, dude.
Well, I mean, they didn't eke it out. They came back and won.
They came back and won.
They're getting their ass kicked there for a little while.
That's what I'm saying. They came back and won, but I think Tulane's a good team. God.
Tulane was better than I thought they were going to be.
They're
I thought
way
they
better.
might fall off a little bit, but I mean, they just kept hitting big play after big play, and every time I looked up at this screen, they had a guy running 50 yards down the field for a touchdown. I bet Kansas State in this game. They did not cover. Really frustrated me. They had a chance to cover at the end, but I don't know. Kansas State really didn't look that good to me in this game, and I thought they were going to be probably a Big 12 finalist.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how open the Big 12 is this year. Like West Virginia, they can probably win it if they really try. Kansas State with Avery Johnson, who was the guy who really ran Will Howard out of Ohio, to Ohio State. This game for them is just you didn't see any progression for them. It's just They just kept playing down to Tulane. Did not play good ball. Avery Johnson, he's young. He'll get better. Or at least you hope so, because he was definitely one of their bigger recruits that they've ever had in recent time, probably ever since the Bill Snyder era. So, this was just a big-time game for him that he just wasn't able to play up to.
And he's supposed to be the truth, and it's his second game, so maybe I'm being a little hard on him. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move through these real fast. LSU struggled with Nicholls State. If y'all want to talk about it, stop me.
Didn't watch it.
Didn't watch? Yeah, all right. Kansas, we mentioned earlier, struggled against Illinois. Illinois ends up pulling it out and winning that game, upsetting Kansas.
Ooh, Kansas.
Ooh. Arizona has a tough time against Northern Arizona. Also lost their coach. Whole team chose to stay there. We're going to see who's right in that decision, but Arizona may be taking a week off. We'll see. Iowa fucked me. They let Iowa State come back and win. That ruined my parlay. Would have won a couple $100 had Iowa not done that, so fuck them. They don't have an offense still. Hate them.
Well, they looked like at the beginning of the game, they were moving the ball up and down the field with ease, and then they make a couple bad decisions. Did they miss the extra point, or did they just go for 2 and not get it? Because if they would have got the extra, they went for 2 at some point, and if they would have just kicked the field goal, it would have been a tie ball game going to overtime. Yeah.
So I don't know, but up 13-0 at halftime. You would think you're looking
And then
good
they
for
just
that.
stopped playing defense.
Yeah.
They just let Iowa State do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, so don't like that. Fuck them. Georgia Tech loses to Syracuse, and Kyle McCord, barn burner. He was throwing absolute piss missiles all over the fucking field. 381 yards for Kyle McCord after we famously talked shit on them last week.
That's a classic case of an ACC team getting ranked after 2 good weeks and losing. That happens so often. It's going to happen later this year.
And you know it was going to happen. Another surprise, South Carolina beats Kentucky, beats the shit out of Kentucky. Kentucky, yeah, actually, yeah. Here you go. Kentucky, no.
Kentucky, yes.
Yeah, Kentucky, yeah. The longest running soundbite on this podcast by far.
By far. By long shot.
By far. All right, and we'll get to Florida. Florida State had a bye week.
Thank
so,
God.
Yeah, so obviously they need to get their shit together. But
Well, I'm going to freshen up my drink while y'all talk about Florida.
freshen up your drink. Week 2. Coming into week 2, Florida playing Texas A&M, or week 3, Florida playing Texas A&M. We got to see last week DJ Lagway play Samford. He balled all over the field, threw for the most yards for a freshman ever in Florida history. Now, how much of that has to do with, Samford being Samford or DJ Lagway being that guy?
I mean, last time Stanford played in the Swamp, Stanford,
It was a close game.
they set the record for the most points ever scored in a half in the Swamp. They put up 42.
Right.
They put up 50 on them, which was I think that was another large record for like an FCS school versus a SEC school, like most points ever scored. But it was like 72 or 70 to 50 or 52.
It was
It was a large game. Stanford was putting up large numbers versus an SEC team. But I will say this: I want DJ Lagway because when it comes to the future,
Yeah, DJ or Mertz right now.
yeah, I want DJ.
Right now.
DJ. For the simple fact of long term, why do we need Graham Mertz? We're clearly not going to be getting any sort of success. Maybe a crappy bowl game like the Birmingham Bowl. That might be what Florida gets.
And
Why
the
not
versatility.
Why not commit to DJ Lagway?
Yeah.
Let him get some experience. He's going to play some tough teams, but hey, when it comes to next year, he's going to look better. He has the potential to be great, especially when you get Billy Napier out of there and get him a half-assed decent coach.
I completely agree. I think DJ's got to be that guy. You saw versatility. You saw the defense having to play the quarterback instead of only playing the running back. I mean, even they still just play the running back most of the time because Billy's just going to run it up the middle on first down or second down, or maybe third and long, run it up the middle again. Hate that all the time. But they had to use another man to cover DJ. And then you're also worried about the deep game, the vertical passing game. DJ, obviously, you let some long bombs go accurately. He's throwing bombs. I don't know what else to say.
He's a stud. I have high hopes for him. I'm not saying that Florida's going to win this year, but he's going to get some better playing time, and he's going to get some better experience for next year.
All right, Joey. I know. Do you got anything to say about future star DJ Lagway?
Didn't watch the game. What I do want to say about Samford is they should have beat Kansas in the NCAA tournament. They got robbed by that penalty or foul call late in the game, and I would have won so much money, so much.
Okay,
So that's all I got on that game.
since we're already talking about them, Florida, Texas A&M, we'll roll right into it. Florida hosting Texas A&M. It's going to be a 2:30 game. Florida underdogs at home, -4 or +4 points. Texas A&M, man, shit. Over under at 47.5. That's probably accurate. That's probably
Vegas is
about
pretty
accurate.
good at what they do.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know because I know what's going to happen. Graham Mertz is going to get the start. Graham Mertz is going to get the start,
think so?
and Billy's not going to put Lagway in as much as he needs to be put in.
That would be stupid.
It's going to be stupid. It's going to be stupid. That's what's going to happen.
I don't. The only way Billy saves his job this year is if DJ Lagway plays decent, and y'all go like 6-6, and you're like, hey, next year we got DJ, so we're good.
Yeah.
So why would you not just throw him in and try to save your job?
That's what I'm thinking, too. I don't think he does it. What about you? What do you think he does?
We've seen how Napier has made previous decisions. He won't make the decision that'll be best for the program and B himself. So I don't see it happening. Of course, I would like to see it happen because I want to see Lagway get some actual decent experience. Like I said, when it comes to this game, you have Connor for Texas A&M, who's like not very,
Not a believer in that guy.
not even a little bit. Especially after losing to Notre Dame and then what they do. Especially for Texas A&M. You're like, all right, we lost to Notre Dame. That was a close game. Like, all right, we need y'all to go off and do good. What they do? They went and lost to Northern Illinois. They're like, all right, so we look like some fucking idiots over here.
Yeah. I mean, I got no idea on this game, to be honest with you. It's a weird one. I don't really have a good feel on Texas A&M. If I had to pick it, what's the spread?
It's 4.5. Or not 4.5. It's -4 Texas A&M.
If it was under 3, I'd really like A&M. I'd still pick them to win, but
Yeah, I'll take Florida +4. I think it's going to be 27-24 either way. Last minute field goal wins.
I can see that.
Last minute field goal wins. Hopefully,
There's no way to know.
Hopefully, it's in the swamp. Yeah, there's no way to know that game. All right, so moving on to week 3. We'll start off up the top with Florida State. Florida State comes back into action against Mike Norvell's old team that he coached before Florida State, Memphis. Florida State hosting Memphis in Doak. Joey.
Pass.
You're -3,
Pass.
-3.5. No, you can't pass. You can't pass. This is why you're here.
I don't know. This team just stinks. I mean, it's so frustrating watching this fucking stupid-ass team play. It's not even fun. Like, on Monday night, whenever we were playing Boston College, I'm sitting here before the all day just, like, not excited about the game.
And then I came over after halftime, probably about halftime, and you were like, why are you coming over? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, see, I mean, the frustrating thing about it is – so Florida State's one of the few teams in the nation. I say this all the time that the press can actually watch every single practice besides like scrimmages and stuff. And so obviously they couldn't watch 2020 because of COVID. They pretty much told us 21 they're not going to be great. 22 they're going to be decent. 23 they're awesome.
This was
and
the
then
year.
24 they're like, hey, they're not 12-0, but they're probably 11-1, 10-2, and Mike Norvell's talking them up. And then we just suck worse than anything I've ever seen. And it's like, how was everybody so wrong about this team? Everybody from the recruiting rankings to the freaking, besides DJ, whatever. DJ wasn't the reason we lost the Georgia Tech game. I think it was a bad game plan that we stuck to for too long, and it was the least amount of possessions in college football in like 15 years. Super weird game. But DJ did not play good against Boston College. Mike let him air it out, which he did not do against Georgia Tech. He missed open guys dropped passes. They got to go to Brock Glenn. I mean, he's lost all his confidence. The fans are calling out Brock's name. Just screw it. Play the freshman receivers that are so talented. Play Brock Glenn. Play the young linemen. The season's over anyway. I think we're gonna. I don't expect us to beat Memphis. Unless something crazy happens. I think we're gonna lose.
I think
Maybe.
I think Florida State's in a very similar situation to Florida right now. That go ahead, just invest in your future. Screw these transfers that are just trying to make it to the league and just continue on their life in football, because it's not going to happen. They're not good enough. They're not going to succeed in their conference. They're definitely not going to succeed at the next level. When it comes to that Boston College game, Bill O'Brien, that's cool to see that team doing good. They're in the AP top 25 for who knows. I don't even know the last time they were.
Yeah, well, that's another one. Bet against Boston College this week because they're going to lose. Yeah.
But when it comes to Florida State, I don't know. Like it's kind of funny that they're in such shambles, and Mike Norvell put them on the schedule because it's like, damn, you left us and we still beat your ass. Like that's where I'm at. So I'm locking in Florida State. That's for sure. Or no, I'm locking in Memphis.
I was about to say.
So we got our first lock of the night and a lock in on Memphis. I'm gonna say it's kind of bold, but at the same time, it's not really that bold. It's just a fuck you to Florida State, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. We got so much young talent on this team. Just let them go. Obviously the old guys aren't getting it done. So,
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Just start building for the next few seasons if you got some young guys on your team. Memphis is 2-0. Let's take a look. They beat Troy.
Troy is one of the worst teams in football this year, though.
So they 40-0 Northern Alabama out the gate, and then they 38-7 Troy. After Troy lost a lot of players. They were the Sun Belt champs last year, correct?
Yeah, they lost everybody. They're bad.
Yes.
I don't see any way Florida State really wins the game unless – they could just change everything up completely. If they do that, they had a bye week this week. I think Mike Norvell's a very good coach, so maybe they get their shit together. So, again, they have a lot of talent. It's just like he misevaluated what his roster was going to be. Mm-hmm. So, go back, take a week off, figure out what you're good at, Maybe we'll see.
All right. Duchesne Gillis in the chat saying Texas A&M versus Florida, new Miami 2.0. Do you remember Duchesne Gillis? He was at our bachelor party at Devin Floyd's bachelor party with the do-rag.
I was drunk.
Yeah, all right. Duchesne Gillis was there. All right. Moving forward, Friday night, you got Arizona at Kansas State. After seeing what Kansas did to Tulane and after seeing what Arizona did to Northern Arizona or didn't do to Northern Arizona, I'm looking at the spread. It's -7 Kansas State. I think I'd have to go with Kansas State on it.
I don't know.
I'm not going to lock it.
These are two teams I loved as of last week, and now I don't know what to think of either of them. I still kind of want to ride the Arizona bandwagon. I like Arizona. I'm going to take the points. I think they might have been looking ahead to Kansas State last week. So
I am definitely taking Arizona. I'm locking them in.
Lock.
They have some great talent. All you need is just a coach to put a half-ass decent game plan. Go after a freshman or a redshirt freshman quarterback and just go play some decent ball. You have one of the best receivers in the country at the moment, and then you also have a great returning quarterback who could have gone off and went anywhere else, but he wanted to stay in damn Tucson, and we're going to see them play next week. So I'm excited to see this game.
I do like Noah Fafita.
He's a good
a lot.
quarterback.
I think he's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's still there. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were looking forward to Kansas State. And in that case, they probably prepared for them for 2 weeks, and they might come out and surprise some people. But I'm just going to stay away from it. Big game here. Big game. Alabama going to Camp Randall, 11 a.m. It's hard to get up for those 11 a.m. Northern games. So they are -16 favorites at Camp Randall against Wisconsin. No one's giving Wisconsin any credit here, man. No one's giving them any credit. They beat, they beat Western Michigan. They beat South Dakota. Is that South Dakota?
It's not South Dakota State, I don't think.
It's not South Dakota State. Well, I mean, maybe you shouldn't be giving them credit. That's all they got this year.
They have not looked good so far this year with Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback.
Tyler Van Dyke, man, from Miami, transferring in from Miami.
So here are my feelings that I said I had on this game earlier. If Nick Saban was still the coach at Alabama, this would be the easiest lock of all time. Alabama beat them by 1 million points. You see this when they play other Power Fives. 1 second, Debo touchdown. Get in there. Let's
go. I got Debo too. Let's go.
I need Kittle with 3 more receptions. Hit a parlay. Where was I at? Alabama. Nick Saban.
It'd be the easiest lock.
Yeah, another Power 5 team, non-ranked. They're playing, even if they're playing at Wisconsin. After almost losing, playing a tough game against USF, Nick Saban would have blown this team out. Nick Saban's not at Alabama anymore. Kalen DeBoer's not Nick Saban. Nick Saban does have an office in the stadium, though. I like Wisconsin here. I like him to keep it close. I don't think they're going to win, but when jump around's hitting at Camp Randall, this team's going to be ready to play this football game, and it's going to be close. Jalen Milroe stinks.
Are you locking in Alabama or locking in Wisconsin?
Give me Wisconsin plus 16.
All right. I'll go the opposite side of you. I think Alabama, like our Alabama correspondent was saying over here, once they put in those 2 linemen that are week to week, it was over with. They found the run game. I'm gonna lock in Alabama at plus or -16 there.
You know who's usually good at stopping the run?
Wisconsin. I know. I understand. I'm going against every feeling in my body, but I'm just thinking if Alabama can get past this one, they're set up for that Georgia collision course that we all really want, and I think they're really focused on this game.
I want Wisconsin to play good ball, but right now I'm getting that weird feeling of just seeing Bama play a Big Ten team, and that's not in the playoffs.
No, I understand that feeling. Yeah,
it's just like it's never an ugly finish for the Big Ten team.
But again, that's Nick Saban before. Like he's not there.
That's the thing. It's like how you can't take your eyes off Bama like that until you see Bama do it. That's just like it. Just seeing the logo, not have a blowout score versus these non-conference teams. Until I see it happen, it's hard for me to just like think it's going to happen. Until I see it, but that's why I'm not locking in this game. I feel like this is one of those games where like, okay, we're going to see DeBoer play some higher level competition. He hasn't played the SEC game yet, but Bama's probably gonna be one of the teams I bet the least this year. For the simple fact of the matter, it's like
You don't know where they're going to be.
No, you just don't know. We're seeing a whole new era. It's just
I do not like that Wisconsin has went away from just being the pound the ball team under Luke Fickell, but again, I still think they're going to be frisky. They're going to be ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. It's the biggest game of the season for them, probably. At least right now it is. Every game's the biggest game of the season that week, I guess, at least. All right, moving on.
Coach speak.
Coach speak. Boston College at Missouri, 11:45 in the morning, God's time. Yeah, I think Missouri is going to prove a point to the college football world here that they're locked in on this season. They're locked in on the playoffs. That's where they're going to go. I got Missouri winning this one big. 16.5.
Missouri's kind of dead to me.
I don't think I'm that sold on them. Because I do like this Boston College team. I like Bob. I like Bob a lot.
Castellanos is very good too.
Castellanos is a dog. So, you want to make it fun? You want to make it fun and lock in Boston College? Anyone going to lock in Boston College with me? If I lock in Boston College plus 16.5?
Absolutely not.
Not a shot game.
No, it's too big of a spread to be a shot game.
Yeah. So, no lock in. I think Missouri's going to win. I don't know if they cover 16.5 though.
I mean, I'm not going to lock this game at all. But again, this is another game where an ACC team gets ranked. They're going to lose. I don't know how bad they lose. I don't really love the 16.5. Missouri, I bet a decent amount of money on their over last week, minus 51.5, and they only scored 31 points against frickin' Buffalo. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little upset with Missouri right now. I still think they're a good team. I think they might walk the dog with Boston College here. So if I had to bet it, I'd take Missouri minus 16.5.
All right.
That offense is good. Brady Cook's good. Who's the wide receiver that they have? Luther Burden.
Luther Burden is a freak. He is really good.
Luther Burden's the only thing from that team that I think is like real deal NFL talent.
Yeah.
I don't think Cook's like that great. He's got a great guy to throw to. He's got a coach who's got a decent game plan. But I think Luther Burden's like really the only thing from Mizzou that we're going to be like, that kid's going to play well in the league. He's going to do really well. He'll be a really solid wide receiver too someday.
Listen, I'm going back to it. I've decided. Give me the over for Missouri. We're going to give them a second chance here. Lock it in.
You're going to lock in the over for Missouri? There we go. We do need to spin locks. I need to spin some locks. Let's see. What was the over under there?
54.5.
54.5?
Missouri's defense is not supposed to be that good this year. Castellanos is going to score points, but I think Missouri's going to score more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, don't bring up old Bill O'Brien to the Bama fans. They hate him.
Oh, trust me. If Casey's watching this thing right now, he'd be through the screen. I know he's hated as an offensive coordinator for Bama, but then again, he was offensive coordinator for an NFL team. I'm sorry. This cord slapping is so funny to me.
No, it's every time it's like doing it, I slap it and it stops doing the feedback. Because I think you're doing a little finger thing here.
We need to. Who's the damn producer of this thing? He needs to be fired.
Anyways, when it comes to Bob, I think he has a great offensive plan with Castellanos. It's just that's another one of those things. It's like I don't know. I'm not confident with it because they could literally just fall flat on their face this week.
I think I'm with Joey. Since in honor of you being back on the podcast, I'm going to lock in the over with you on this one on the Missouri Boston College.
I might be chasing a little bit, but
yeah, that's fine. We all are. Next game, we got the Civil War. Oregon State going to
so what a weird time to be playing this game.
Yeah, this is a weird time. They always play. No, wait. They used to play at the end of the season, like every other rivalry game, right?
Pac-12's gone.
Pac-12 is gone. So they fit it in still, which I like. But at Oregon State, Oregon hasn't been looking super good. They come in as 16.5-point favorites against the Beavers. And that's about right, but Oregon's defense has been shitty so far. Dude, I think Oregon State with the points is the best bet, but I really don't want to spin a lock on it.
I think it's too obvious. I think Oregon State them points is way too obvious. I think it's a trap game. I think the way you're thinking here, here's the thought process. Oregon State left out of the Power 5 or Power 4 football. They're playing the rivalry. They're going to try to prove that they make it there. Oregon's look terrible. Everyone's going to be on Oregon State, and Oregon's just going to come out and blow them out. I don't know. I can see it both ways. I'm staying away. I'll just enjoy the football.
I feel like Oregon's going to come out and just they're going to play real ball this week.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think I'm going to lock it in because maybe this team is actually that atrocious. But I feel like this is the week they'll bounce. I said it last week, but I feel like they'll bounce back this week, and we'll see actually some decent ball with them. So
I think if you saw like I don't know what it is, but if you went and found where all the money's at, I bet you everyone's betting Oregon State. It seems like an obvious pick to me.
you would think so, but that's always where it seems to get you, right?
Yeah,
like
and that's why I'm
two
not taking
obvious
it.
ones,
Yeah.
it's like no. Now, I have a different pick. That's probably not going to be in the top 25 anywhere, but Miami of Ohio and Cincinnati. 2.5. My Cincinnati's pick.
You're taking Miami of Ohio?
No, I don't know who to take here. It's just like the most random line. We're seeing a P4 team against Miami of Ohio, favored not even a field goal. Miami of Ohio is 0-1. Cincinnati's 1-1. They played Pitt.
They should have beat Pitt.
Yeah, they played Pitt close.
Yeah.
Why are they only favored 2.5 points?
I just think Cincinnati stinks. I think,
Miami of Ohio bad? That was a Marshall tune-up game 10 years ago.
yeah, but Miami of Ohio is a decent MAC team nowadays.
No,
They play decent football, but I would take Miami of Ohio in that game.
Why is that?
I mean, again, I hate Scott Satterfield. That might be what it comes down to. I don't think he's a good coach. I think whenever Cincinnati, they downgraded hugely from Luke Fickell to him whenever they were in such a good spot when Luke Fickell left. I think he finds ways to lose games.
I feel like this is gonna be a really.
He's like Sam
I
Pittman.
feel like this is almost like too obvious to like not for one of us not to put a lock on. So I'm gonna put Cincinnati as a lock. That they're gonna cover. If they can't cover 3 points, they'll be the laughing stock of college football this year. And I can't stress that enough. But I feel like that's such an easy lock that one should. I don't see how
Makes
that
me
can't
want to
happen.
lock in Miami of Ohio, but I'm not going to.
We're making a shot game. That'd be a shot game.
I mean, I would. I don't know if you want to make a group of 5.
I could go Cincinnati or Miami of Ohio. You went Cincinnati. You want to go Miami of Ohio?
I mean, if we were doing a shot game, I'd definitely take Ohio. Miami
yeah,
of
let's
Ohio.
do that. That'll be making fun. That'll make it fun for. I'll go Miami of Ohio with Joey there.
I need 2 more receptions from Kittle for this parlay to hit. Brees, Debo, and then I need Kittle over or 4+ receptions.
Not a bad game going on here. Hopefully, we're gonna get to watch this after the podcast ends abruptly here. We got 9 people watching live, guys. Like, subscribe
Shout out.
to the @RealSwampcast on Twitter, everywhere, and at CFB Extravaganza. Thank you, guys. And get in the chat. All we got in the chat is some dude named Duchesne Gillis who's an asshole. All right. Anyway, we're moving on.
I think I like him.
I'm peeking at this Virginia Tech at Old Dominion game. I'm going to lock in Old Dominion with the plus 14 points there. I think they might even beat the Hokies. Fuck them.
He thinks that because they did it 2 years ago. That's why he thinks that.
And that's perfectly fine college football logic.
That's
Look.
exactly why you think that.
I'll say this. So Virginia Tech played Marshall last week. Marshall played them really close. Like the defense played lights out. Defense didn't allow a touchdown in the first half. It was a punt return touchdown. And then you have the wrong quarterback in there. You're giving the wrong guy the ball in your handoffs. This team's being coached horribly. They could have beat Virginia Tech. So Old Dominion, they might be able to beat them. I don't think that will happen. But they're definitely not covering. I don't think Virginia Tech's going to cover a game for a while until they're brought back down when it comes to these covers because they're 0-2 against the spread. I think they'll be 0-3, but I'm not going to lock that in.
Yeah, they were so hyped up coming into the season, and they're just – I mean, everybody in the ACC that was hyped up is not good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we're talking about an Old Dominion team here who played South Carolina very close in week 1. And South Carolina looking a lot better than I expected, or at least they beat the shit out of Kentucky this past week.
Yeah, they're expected to be the worst team in the SEC.
Yeah, right. So I'm locking it in.
We're doing transitive again?
We're doing transitive again just for this podcast. This is a trans podcast, obviously.
Fake
Couldn't tell.
news. Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah, I don't know. I just saw that one, and I'm like, yeah, I think Virginia Tech has earned a little bit of beef with me for the season. I think they have. So that's what we're rolling with. Let's see. If y'all have any games that are not going to be on the cut, Ole Miss going to Wake Forest. Yeah, let's look at that. So ACC correspondent? What's Wake Forest looking like this year?
Trash. They're a bunch of bags of trash. It's on the CW network, so that's cool. Game that half the country can't watch. So shout out. It's not accessible for Fubo. Yeah, I would definitely take Ole Miss, even though not as high on them this year as everyone else is.
How about them points? You got Ole Miss minus 23 points.
Yeah, no, I'm taking them.
Taking them with the points.
Yeah.
You gonna lock them in? Are you locking them in? Are you thinking about it?
Man.
I don't know if I want to lock them in with that many points against.
Who's Wake Forest? They lost to Virginia, and they beat North Carolina A&T 45-13.
Does Virginia still have that TikTok quarterback?
I don't know.
He's that TikTok guy.
I'd probably go. I'd say Ole Miss take the points, but I don't want to lock it in.
I'm not gonna lock it in either. But yeah, Ole Miss. If you had to bet it, I mean, let's over under 63.5. I bet the over. I think on that, but I also don't want to lock it in.
Overs are weird this year because of the new rule where the clock doesn't stop after first down.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if Vegas has figured it out exactly yet, but
Texas climbs up to number 2 in the rankings. They're playing UTSA and the Roadrunners, an in-state game, soon to be in-state rivalry. Not psych, joking. Texas is favorite 34.5 points at home. That's probably about right. The Roadrunners 1-1, not your typical Roadrunner.
you know how bad they are this year? UTSA. Go look at their score from last week.
They lost 49-10 at Texas State, which is a rival.
Yeah, I mean, I love Texas. I'll lock in Texas. The only thing I'm worried about this year or this game is the letdown spot. You get the biggest win of the season in college football, and then you're going home to play UTSA. You could see a letdown game, but also Arch Manning's their number 2 quarterback. So if Quinn Ewers gets a lead and comes in, he's still going to put up points.
He's still putting up points. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to double lock that up. And Joey, lock 1, lock 2, because Texas State covered that spread.
Yeah.
If Texas State's going to cover it, you're going to triple lock? We are in lock, unanimous lock here.
Triple lock, if we don't hit, we all have to do a shot.
How many shots are we doing this podcast?
Well, we have a shot game, and then, if we all triple lock, when we're all wrong, we all have to do a shot. Because
fair.
It's just embarrassing. It's just an embarrassing.
You know what's cool? What's cool about Texas? They did lose their first 2 running backs before the season-ending injuries, but freaking Sarkisian still gets them open. They were still wide open all game against Michigan, so I mean, they're gonna score. I don't see them not covering the spread.
What about Colorado State? This one's going to be
Colorado State.
This one's going to be weird. Really, really weird.
Betting against Colorado this year has been free money.
It has. You took North Dakota State week 1.
I did
or
take
week
North
0,
Dakota State.
whatever. But Colorado State did lose 52-0.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They did lose 52-0 to Texas. So.
Yeah, but also you got a quarterback who gave up after the first drive and then left the field with 2 minutes left in the game in Shedeur Sanders. And Travis Hunter was not too happy with him during that game.
Because Travis Hunter's an actual legitimate ball player,
Yeah.
a team player who goes out there to give it his all, and then Shedeur is
A rapper.
I don't need to give any detail. Like he speaks for himself.
He's a rapper.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that thing that Deion Sanders is told the band after Shedeur scores they're not allowed to play the fight song because they have to play Shedeur Sanders' rap song after he scores?
No, I didn't.
That's a real thing.
Wait, is that actually a thing?
That's the thing. Go look it up. They're not. Yeah, that's how that this. It's not. He's not a serious coach. This isn't a serious football
That's like
team.
making Colorado fans hate him.
They're selling out this season tickets. They're coming to the games. They're buying in, and then by the way, you can't play your own fight.
But his
song.
draft stock, he was fine at the North Dakota State game.
Yeah, he balled out in North Dakota.
Yeah,
State
he was
game.
fine. And then this Nebraska game went from a top 10 to who knows what his pick went down to.
Oh yeah, well I don't know. I just don't think they're serious football players.
I will say, he got beat he got beat up pretty good back there, but no NFL scout's going to say, I want that quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, let's remember how Johnny Manziel was. He didn't throw his team under the bus or anything. He just partied, and that guy went from what should have been top 10 to a second round.
Joey says, shout out to Joey missing the entire 13-0 season. And Manning doesn't get to play this season. And then he also says, Deion can't coach, and the Buffs can't stop the run. So that is accurate.
Can't Arch Manning play this season? Is that real?
I think he's just fucking around. He can play this season. He's already played this season.
He has. And no, he threw a touchdown already, too. So,
Yeah, but this Colorado State game was one of my favorite games to watch last year. It was awesome.
my gosh, it was ugly, though.
It was ugly. There was a lot of
I think they want revenge. I think Colorado State wants
Colorado State at home. I would take Colorado State plus the points.
But
I
does
guess
it not bother you that this is the game Travis Hunter got hurt?
if Shadur can't throw him the ball, then I mean,
Yeah,
what
he
what
can't.
matters?
But this is a game Travis Hunter got hurt, so I feel like this is a game where he can ball out. So I feel that's. But once again, if you don't have a no line, you can't play football.
Yeah.
Simple math. But yeah, I mean, this game. Does anyone want to lock in anything here?
I feel like I only got 2 locks and there's nothing left.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lock it in. Son of a bitch. Don't worry, Chad. We're getting new cords, new mics next week.
Yeah, no, it sounds great to me.
It sounds fun. Yeah. You'll listen to it back. You'll be like, holy fuck. But I'm thinking we need to touch on last week and give Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola some props in Nebraska. Some props. He's quarterback for Nebraska. It is Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, you're
Patrick
right.
Mahomes.
It is Patrick Mahomes double time. I mean, he did cosplay as Patrick Mahomes last week. That he was looking straight like him. It was looking just like him.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
Well, I mean, autism shows in every form. You know what I'm saying. It
Impersonating
shines
Patrick
through.
Mahomes is a form of autism.
And yeah, it could be. And you know what? It might be the best form of autism, actually, if you think about
If
it.
you become the number 1 overall draft pick, then
Just
yeah.
from it, yeah.
I
yeah.
also am going to start impersonating.
He is a stud. So 28-10, that pick 6 was like pretty much where they just lost all confidence in the game and they just gave up.
I'm telling you, Shadur Sanders quit after the first drive.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
That pick. Okay, but first off, just like one, you have to feel whenever you see a blue blood, which Nebraska is a blue blood of college football. The history there runs so deep. Whenever you see a place like that, it's so deep, just like the corn that they grow. Whenever you see that place that's been in shambles for so many years, after so many years of success, and having that energy once again, being happy for it. Because once again, what's Nebraska been happy for recently? Their volleyball team. That's all they've had. They put their volleyball team in that football stadium. One, it sold out, was a great game.
Yeah.
2, seeing that pick 6 and just seeing the shot, it cuts to Shador. It's a low shot of just the crowd going crazy and just that stadium. It was electric.
Did you see the girl's sign that was like, "This is the Nebraska my dad keeps telling me about"? I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
But legitimately, though, this is like you have to feel whenever you see a blue blood like this come back to life.
Yeah.
Whether it be an overreaction so far, it's just fun to see that energy back in college football again.
I agree
too. I did miss UCF. Shout out UCF for covering and winning me a bet last week against Sam Houston. I was in Orlando, so I bet UCF to cover that, and I'm glad they did. All right, like Joey said, Joey, you only used 2 locks. I think I have 3 that I used. So if we overuse a lock, then we'll just go with your first 5, and we'll have to deal with that later.
Well, I got a lock if you want to go to Georgia, Kentucky.
Yeah, we'll go Georgia, Kentucky. Wait a minute. You want to go Kentucky?
Kentucky, yes.
Kentucky, yes. All right. Georgia, Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, looks absolutely terrible. And I was listening to Unnecessary Roughness earlier, and they made a good point on there that Mark Stoops literally took another job last year, and then Texas A&M kicked him out. We're like, no, our fans don't like you. Go back to Kentucky.
He did.
And then they got beat by what was supposed to be the worst team in the SEC.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky might be dog shit this year. I love Georgia. The fact that it's only 24 points, give me Georgia minus 24.
All right, you're locking it in?
Yep.
We're locking her in. And you know what? I'm going to lock that in too because you got Brock Vandergriff on the other side of the ball.
It might not be good.
It might not be good. Everyone kind of gave him credit for being good because he was Georgia transferred to a couple other places. Mm-hmm. He has not looked that good. Maybe South Carolina is a beast, but I don't think so. Georgia is a bigger beast, and I think they will absolutely do Kentucky. And yeah, you're gonna lock it in too. All right, I'll let you give your take then.
One, so many people say, my buddy, he'll send me parlays, and he did live in Florida, now he lives in Bama, so send me some money, creates a little parlay.
Nice.
And he's like creating the parlay, like we're on the phone.
Illegal.
No, we're talking about a parlay that I should put in for my own personal reference. He's just giving me advice.
Smart.
Yes.
And sending you money.
Yes, he sent me money so I have money to put into it for myself because I'm broke. I'm a broke college student. Thank you. It's a gift. Exactly. It was a gift, $5. Sent it to me so I could, correct. Anyways.
If you need us to retain you as a law firm,
I have one right here. Anyways, but it came to Kentucky, South Carolina, Auburn, Cal. I'm like, I don't like these two games. He's like, why not? I'm like, these are games that Auburn and Kentucky's they're gonna get bit. They're gonna get bit hard. Mm-hmm. He was saying that I shouldn't cover with Marshall. He's like, that's probably where it's gonna hurt you. I'm like, no. You're going to get hurt way before those games with Kentucky and Auburn. And lo and behold, I was right. Auburn, that was ugly. They couldn't play ball worth anything.
Yeah, Cal's not supposed to be any good this year either.
No.
Yeah, I had Cal in that game. That was a nice one.
I just felt the vibe. Yeah.
Kentucky stinks.
Kentucky does stink. Kentucky, yeah. All right. Dude, I think I might have one more lock, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it's going to be at. I think I'm gonna have to do this big rivalry. Okay, so we can talk about this game. We got two more games to talk about. I got LSU and South Carolina, and then how about we make the West Virginia and Pittsburgh game the last game? That's a rivalry game. That's big time rivalry. Eat shit, Pitt. All right, so LSU at South Carolina. Does South Carolina surprise everyone and get this win over LSU and make Brian Kelly pound another table? That's the question. I think South Carolina might win this game. I'm feeling it. I'm going to take South Carolina with the points, and that'll be my final lock.
Yeah, I think you're falling into the trap of watching a team play good the week before and watch LSU's just a better team than South Carolina is. I don't really care if they're playing at South Carolina. -7. Give me that. Lock it in.
I will be joining you. -7. Lock that in. This is the game where, South Carolina's fun. If this was a night game, I probably might be taking some South Carolina points here.
Right.
Seeing that stadium, seeing Columbia, right?
Columbia, yeah.
Columbus and Columbia. Columbia at night with Sandstorm, that's a fun place to play. But for being a 11 o'clock kick, I hate it. I feel like there should be like a late night game on the SEC network. That'd be the best way to play it. But I like LSU -7, bouncing back, playing some real ball. The first SEC matchup. This is where they play their best games. They always suck versus these non-conference teams to start the year. And when it comes to the SEC, they finally turn it on up until those harder, higher ranked games that they have to end up facing with the Bamas and Georgias.
Yeah, LSU's hungry. South Carolina's riding high right now. Give me the Hungry Dogs.
I think South Carolina is still hungry, and I think who's that defensive end for South Carolina that's wreaking havoc all over the fucking place, dude?
They have a defensive end of South Carolina.
Yeah, dude, he is absolutely tearing people up, and I think this will be the best pass rush that we've seen LSU face. They have a good O-line, but Nussmeier tends to get it out pretty fucking quick, and I think that presents opportunities for South Carolina to maybe press these LSU wide receivers and get some picks, maybe even a pick six. So we'll see, because they're going to get in there quick. I hope South Carolina plays close and plays man zero or something like that, and I think you could see a good defensive ball game from South Carolina.
I love defensive ball games. I think South Carolina stinks. Shane Beamer, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's a bad coach.
He's trying to play some Beamer ball. He's sticking with it.
Bad coach.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not a big Beamer fan, but
If you want to end on the, what did you call it?
Westford eat shit pit
Pittsburgh.
game.
My last lock is going to be Iowa. Bounce back against Troy. Worst team in college football. One of the worst teams in college football. Minus 22.5.
Not a bad lock. Not a bad lock. I like it. I think it's good.
Give it to me.
Justin, you got anything?
Give it to me.
Minus 22 anything. 22 points for Iowa to be put on, let alone.
To be fair, their first game they won 40-0, and that the over/under was 37.5. Nah, give me Iowa. Love it.
I mean, I hope you're right, man. It's just hard for me to just even watch Iowa offense anymore. I mean, I
Can't blame you.
22. Oof. Anyways, eat shit pit. Here we go.
All right. The college football extravaganza. I guess we can call it game of the week. We ended on it. This was less organized than we'll be next week, but it is one of the most heated and hatred-filled rivalries in all of college football. The Mountaineers and the Pittsburgh Panthers hate each other, to say the least. They have chants like "eat shit Pitt" and "you fucked your cousin, West Virginia." I think the two. I mean, it's close. Here we got Pitt at home, dogs by 2.5 points. Mountaineers 1-1, Pittsburgh 2-0. I mean, I'm purely going off of just feeling here. I'm gonna say West Virginia gets the win because they played a better Penn State team week 1. Not really too much analyzing going on here. They beat Albany 49-14 last week. Who cares? Who cares? So, yeah, West Virginia, baby. We're going West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm not very high on Pittsburgh coming into the year, and they just eked it out against Cincinnati, who, again, I said earlier on the podcast, I don't think Cincinnati is a very good football team. West Virginia really struggled against Penn State. I had them to win that game. That was a bad choice by me, personally. I think West Virginia bounces back. They get a big win here against Pitt, and I think they end up having a pretty decent season.
So
COVID capital of the world, West Virginia.
I'll be once again following you up on there. I think I'm going to actually be.
You gonna be okay over there?
Yeah, got a guy playing my chord over here. So I think I'm going to be subtracting my FSU lock or my Memphis lock. I'm going to be taking West Virginia as my final lock instead.
Switcheroo.
You can switcheroo while the pod's still alive. You can definitely switcheroo while the pod's still alive. I just like 2.5 versus Pitt way more than I do. I don't know. FSU might come out and play ball. That's the thing. This game's a little weird to me. I'd rather just stay away from it and have more confidence in a 2.5 points rather than 7.5. So I'm going to take West Virginia. But these are two teams. Rivalry runs deep. West Virginia, they played some weird ball a few weeks ago, but I think this is a team that could definitely win the Big 12. And with how close Pitt played Cincinnati last week, which is probably the worst team in Power 4, that I think this is an easy lock.
No, I'm with you there. I'm keeping it. That was a good switcheroo. I think that was a big time switcheroo by Justin there. Yeah, you got anything to say going into next week? You got anything to say to the loyal fans who have been waiting for your comeback, and yet here it is. Here you are.
Sure. Since we didn't do a preseason thing, I think the two favorites for the Heisman should be Nico, whatever the hell his last name is, and Quinn Ewers. I think it's going to be a fun battle between those two. They don't play each other, do they?
They could in the championship,
which would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Georgia has to go to Texas. Yeah. And the only other thing I have to say is that James Blackman sucks.
James Blackman sucks. We're back. We're fully back. You can follow me, R. Vincent Comedy. Joey doesn't want you following him at all. So
I don't have anything.
He doesn't have anything. So you can just see him here. He makes good food. Great paella. by the way. Good paella
Fucked up
guy.
paella last time.
Well, you're still
I opened up the wrong end of the chili powder and dumped a shitload of chili powder all over.
historically good paella. Last time it might have got fucked up a little bit, but yeah, I got comedy dates. Just follow that and follow at Real Swampcast. We're gonna be doing a debate drink along tomorrow with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So that's probably gonna be a shit show, just like our country. Justin, you got anything before we close out?
The Herd disappointed me last week. They face Ohio State next week. I know it hurts my heart.
That one's not going to be good.
I'm just not going to watch it, guys. I'm just not going to. I mean, I'm going to watch it. I know who's going to win. My heart. Part of me will feel fine because I do root for Ohio State, but part of me will hurt because Marshall will be 1-2. Other than that, though, we'll see how Florida plays with Texas A&M. But
I hope we get 'em.
Deuces.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Like I said, like and subscribe, and join us next week. I'm gonna have new chords. You're not gonna have the audio feedback, and this is the first time we did it live, so it's gonna get better from here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Adios, peace, abuela, afuera. Goodbye.
These people don't give a shit.
All the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. It's going to win the football. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40, Herman Whitfield to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown FSU.
These people don't give a shit.